So today's guest is Joe Davies, the director of Host So Simple, an Airbnb management company in Liverpool that have over 100 properties. So welcome, Joe, to the podcast. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Using software to run a service accommodation business is, it's become pretty much essential just to ensure the smooth running and efficiency of the whole process. So other than Guesty for your channel manager and Noise Aware for your noise monitoring system, what other software tools do you currently use?
Yeah, sure. So before I answer that, I'd say just generally software is something that you should be prioritizing from day one in every way, shape and form. Do not think I will use software when I get big enough, or I don't need that yet. You should have the same tech stack now as you do when you're at 100 units if you're planning to scale to that size, not trying to fill in backwards, if that makes sense, as software is so powerful and the cost benefit of it is massive when it's used properly. And I think one of the mistakes we made, and I see others making, is saying, oh, I'm going to do this for now and then I'm going to move software when I get bigger. And the headache of the actual change is not being considered. Changing PMS system is an absolute nightmare, even at 3 or 4 properties. When you're at 40, 50 or larger, it's a much bigger task. So you should be looking at what you can scale with, providing that meets your business goals and your personal goals that you want to scale. But yeah, software generally. So we use Guesty, as I say, PMS, which I think is the best in the industry. It's one of the most expensive, but also the best. And hence I'm such a big believer in software. It shouldn't be something that we're trying to save money on too much. So Guesty, as you said, Noise Aware. Then we use Price Labs as our pricing tool. Yeah. We've trialed Beyond. I know Wheelhouse is getting a lot of good recommendations as well, but Price Labs is very customizable, and I love the culture they have there. If I have a really serious problem or really tough question, I can ultimately speak to the founder within a day or two. I love businesses that are really keen to impress and on the forefront of developing. So Price Labs heavily recommend. We also use Asana as our task management software, and Asana is not quite SA related, but I use it for my personal life now. Even my house to-do list of my chores is in Asana, and I live off it, and it's so powerful. And again, free up to a certain amount of users, and I wish I would started using that earlier. We use Breezeway for housekeeping tasks, so that's ensuring that. And I use Breezeway, again, this is how I select software. I look at bigger guys than us and look at what they're using. For me to go and do my own check of everything and trial everything and see how it best works for our business, I'm still not the best person to do that as well, because I don't know what I don't know. I'm still learning on the job. And I think seeing businesses bigger than us, maybe 200, 300 units, whenever I'm at conference events, I'm always asking them, what do you use for this? Because if they're operating it at scale, larger than us, then 9 times out of 10, it's going to work for us too, providing we're set up in a similar way. So Breezeway allows us to clean and have our housekeepers clean in a way that we set it. We're not relying on the housekeepers' internal methods. So checklists, verification photos. We also manage our maintenance tasks through there, so housekeepers can raise maintenance tasks direct to the man on the ground, so there's no middleman needed. Trying to think what else we use. I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think. Noise Aware I've mentioned. We operate off Google Workspace, Google Docs, Live Docs. I think it's important to mention, and I know Google Docs is like, oh yeah, everyone uses that, just like Office, but actually we use it really, really well with SA. And one of the things that we do is that we give every single guest a Google Drive link, which is almost like a PDF, which is essentially it contains the house manual, and it's an interactive PDF, so it's got videos on. It's essentially similar to these things like TouchStay, and I think Duve is one as well. But we've got complete ownership of how it's operated, and it's free. So for us, our check-in instructions as well, if you were to come and stay at one of our properties, you would click on your portal link, which would have in there your check-in instructions, your house manual, and your city guide, restaurant recommendations, things to do, etc. All in a nice graphically designed way, not done an amateur on Word. And Yeah, in those check-in instructions, you would have a picture of the front door, a picture of the lift, a picture of the staircase that you need to take, arrows. It's very, very so detailed. It's almost foolproof to get a guest in from collecting those keys into the property, but they're not relying on just a little paragraph in an Airbnb message, because we all know how risky that can be, and how some guests, especially foreign guests in a new country, will need walking through all the minor steps, even how to use a fob. You think that's obvious, you scan a fob on a door and the door opens. A lot of foreign guests aren't used to that, so you have to point the arrow where the fob system is, circle the fob on the keys and say place this fob on the door, etc. And it reduces the friction. And our check-in rating is something that we track as a KPI, and is consistently above 9 out of 10 across the board. And I think it's really important, as it sets the tone for the rest of the trip, how you check in.
Yeah, fantastic. I think so in terms of software, I also use Guesty, but Guesty for hosts. And I'm looking potentially maybe to switch to Guesty, because it has more features as I sort of scale from 11 properties upwards. I haven't heard of Breezeway, but so we currently use Turnover B&B, or now known as Turno. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I am. And again, I looked at that as one of the options. I had a demo with it. I think Breezeway, for me, again, it's used by the big companies, and the founder of Breezeway also founded Flipkey, which was eventually acquired by TripAdvisor, which is a big channel in our industry. And I think knowing the industry and being able to scale it to that size was really important for me, as well as the tech itself. So more than happy to let you have a play around with Breezeway. And I think another one is Properly as well. Properly, quite a lot of users.
How about Keynest for key storage? Yeah,
we do use Keynest. Sorry, I should have pre-listed all the things we use, but Keynest is huge for us. Reduces the need for lockboxes. I don't like lockboxes, especially outside apartment blocks where you got loads of lockboxes on the wall. It's confusing. It doesn't look nice. And I think, again, it's one of the stains of our industry that we're putting lockboxes up left, right and centre on beautiful buildings at times, which I always try to avoid. I think Keynest is also safer. We've got complete audit of the key trail of when the cleaner collected it, when the cleaner dropped it off, when the guest dropped it off. So if the cleaner wants to start earlier, we can see if the guest checked out without having to bother them. So all sorts of benefits, and it's also more insurance friendly, which is a big thing for clients.